I asked ChatGPT to generate me 100 of the most commonly asked questions that women in STEM have about their careers, and we're going to answer them today. Hey Salceologists, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Angela. I'm a woman in STEM. I've been in the STEM industry for 15 years. So I guess you could say that I've seen some things. I asked ChatGPT to generate me 100 of the most commonly asked questions that women in STEM like yourselves ask on a daily basis about your career and your life. And I'm going to attempt to answer every single one of them in this series. Think of me as your very honest and very protective older sister in STEM. All right, let's get into it. How do you find a mentor in STEM? This is a great question. I think one of the most important things to think about first is why you want to mentor. A mentor relationship, a professional relationship with someone else, can provide you with a lot of benefits in your career, but it depends what you need them for. The most common way people find mentors in the field is that it naturally happens. A mentor can be anyone that is more advanced in their career than you, whether it's a year, a few years, a few decades. It doesn't really matter. It really just depends on what your vibe is with them professionally and whether you get along with them and trust them and all that sort of stuff. A lot of the time, people meet their mentors just from working in their organization every day. They work with someone pretty frequently, they like their vibe, and then they just sort of end up being their mentor, I guess, naturally. And those types of mentor relationships are really great because they're not rigid. You can be comfortable speaking about what it is you want to speak about. I find those relationships to be a bit more substantial. Most organizations, depending on where you work, also have professional mentorship programs. So they probably do this thing maybe every year, every 6 months, don't know, depends on where you work, where they will seek expressions of interest for professionals in the workplace who want a mentor. And they'll try and match you up with someone who is a bit more senior than you. And then it's up to you to exchange your details and then to decide, how frequently you want to meet and what type of mentor relationship you want with them. There are so many mentorship programs outside of organizations that you can join to connect yourself with other women or other professionals outside of your organization, which might be something that you're more comfortable with. I'll put some details of some organizations that I'm aware of that do these types of programs for women. Please be mindful that I'm from Melbourne, Australia, so they might be Australia based. But if you know of any from where you live, please put it in the comments below so that other women or other people viewing my videos can also have a look and suss them out too. How do I network in the STEM industry if I am an introvert? This is a great question. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you will know that I'm a massive extrovert and that I attend networking events very frequently in the industry for my careers and for my businesses. And I tend to go to these networking events alone to network because I'm very used to them now. I've been doing it for many years. But there definitely was a time in my career, especially in the early stages, where I was very shy and introverted. I know you're shocked, but yes, there was a time where I was very introverted. I understand the social anxiety that you feel going to these things. It's very intimidating. I have lots and lots of colleagues and friends in the industry who are also more on the shy and introverted side, and the thought of networking with people in a professional environment sends them into a spiral. So I get it. If you are going to some sort of event where there's going to be lots of people, I always suggest that you bring someone with you if you can. Always bring a +1 with you. My introverted friends always tend to bring me to their professional networking events. Even though the networking event has nothing to do with my discipline or anything that I know in the STEM industry, I will just go with them for moral support because I know that they can be a little bit shy. So my first suggestion is to bring your introverted friend or bring a group of friends to come with you. My second piece of advice is to not pressure yourself into doing anything that you're not comfortable with, and to always take baby steps when you're in these types of networking environments. If you are very shy and you're still very uncomfortable, I wouldn't be focusing on going up to the CEO, shaking the guy or the woman's hand and saying, hey, give me a job. I wouldn't be forcing myself to do things like that if I'm not comfortable. I would take baby steps. Maybe the first couple of networking events, just showing up is enough, okay? Just being present in these rooms is more than enough. You don't have to say hi to anyone. Just being there, showing up for an hour or two is more than enough. Then maybe at the next ones, you start to challenge yourself and say, I want to speak to someone that I've never met before and introduce myself. And then just gradually do it as you attend all of these things. Don't apply so much pressure on yourself so early, okay? We've all been there. I've definitely been there. You will notice as well that when you start attending these types of things frequently, especially within your discipline or within your niche area of STEM, you will notice that the same professionals start to show up to these events. Once they familiarize themselves with you, they've seen you around, it opens up a lot more doors and doors of conversation for you. So just let it progress naturally. I also suggest that you have a list of networking questions, maybe like 5 to 10 of them that you just cycle through every time you go to an event. And you just ask random people these questions if you're comfortable, and just let them talk. Just let them talk, listen, agree, so it just kind of like keeps the time kind of moving by. And then if they ask you a question back, great, answer it. And then just keep going. Just cycle through these questions. If you want me to do a whole video about how to network at an event and some more like in-depth tips, please let me know in the comments below. I'm happy. How do I speak up more in meetings? Meetings, depending on how big the meeting is, can be pretty daunting sometimes, especially when you've got people in these meetings who seem to be very knowledgeable about what they do. There was definitely a time in my career where I still was a bit intimidated to speak up because I was the only woman of color in the meetings, or just the only woman in general. So I get it. I observe how frequently the meetings occur. When this meeting in particular occur pretty frequently with the same group of people, I don't usually speak up or say anything in the first couple of meetings. It gives me a chance to observe who people are, what their perspectives are on certain topics that we're discussing, and it helps me understand what their agendas are as well. And then eventually, when I get used to what the meetings are about and what they're for, that's when I start to formulate my own ideas that I will want to speak up about and try and insert every now and then into the meeting. I want to be able to communicate it in a way that will be influential to my audience. So for example, speaking to health professionals is different in terms of speaking to private sector organizations who care about profit and money. There's different ways of communicating. You should never be afraid to speak your opinions in a public forum or a public setting, of course. But for me, I like to be more on the strategic side. When I do speak up about something, because of, I guess, the biases and microaggressions that I experience in my career as a woman of color, I don't want people to dismiss the things that I say. I want people to listen to what I have to say and have it soak into the conversation, and have influence over the decisions that are made. If a meeting is a once-off thing and you might not get a chance to meet with these people again, I will always try to introduce myself very clearly in a meeting. Now, introducing yourself in a clear, concise, professional manner is very powerful in a meeting. It basically sends a signal to the rest of the people in the meeting that you're important. Doesn't matter whether you're a graduate, a volunteer, or some sort of leader in the field. Just being able to introduce yourself in a strong way kind of sets the tone for how people treat you in that meeting. Before I make any important points in the meeting, I write everything down first so that I have all my thoughts collected before I say it. When there's an opportunity to speak in the meeting, then I'll raise it with them. Whenever I get intrusive thoughts about something that I'm about to raise, maybe because it's very controversial or it's a different perspective of looking at things, I always say to myself, it's important to raise it. I'd rather look like an idiot than not saying anything at all. Instead of looking at it like, oh my God, I'm the only one from this area or from this perspective or this experience speaking at this meeting and attending this meeting, why would they want to know and hear from me? Reframe it and say, I'm the only person from this organization, this department, with this experience and this knowledge, and I have the opportunity to be able to share my opinion in this forum. Whether people take on your opinion or not, whatever, it's up to them. But the fact that you had the courage to speak up about something that you wanted to say in a meeting, it's the fact that you've raised it. That's an accomplishment in itself. Don't ever doubt yourself and whether you belong in certain meetings or forums. You belong there. By the fact that you were invited, you already belong. How do I move into leadership roles? Great question. One of the biggest misconceptions about being a leader in the field is that it's often associated with technical expertise. In our industry, there is a difference between being a technical expert in the field and being a leader. And so sometimes people get hired because of their technical expertise, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they make great leaders. Leadership is all about a set of skills where you are able to manage a group of people or a team and outcomes of that team. So if you are at a point in your career where maybe you've been working for a while and you want to challenge yourself and go into these positions of management and leadership, one of the best ways to do that is to put your hand up and volunteer for any projects or any pieces of work where you are managing the outcome of something. So you're kind of switching your scope from being a professional that contributes to the outcome of something and is part of a team to reach a specific goal, whatever that goal may be in your organization. You're switching that now to actually being the person that manages the outcome of something that you're working on. You're also managing a small team or a big team of people. So putting your hand up for those sorts of experiences builds leadership skills. If you are not being exposed to those sorts of experiences just yet, then speak to someone in management or someone above you to let them know that these are what your intentions are. Hey, I really want to challenge myself a bit more and get into management or leadership or do this and manage a team. If you have any opportunities in the future, please keep me in mind, that sort of stuff. Letting people know that that's sort of what you want to go into. Another way is to put your hand up to do a lot of professional development stuff in relation to leadership. I guarantee that your organization has so many different modules or, training events or things that you can do to kind of build those skills without the experience. These sorts of professional development opportunities may not directly expose you to leadership experience just yet, but it's starting to expose you and to reframe your mindset to become a leader and to think like one. So instead of, focusing on the technical aspects of a job, now it's reframing your mindset and teaching you how to think strategically. It teaches you to have a bird's eye perspective on things and how to manage conflict if it comes up between people, or what happens if you're not meeting deadlines, or how to prevent, things from happening before they happen, that sort of stuff. There are so many professional development opportunities available, and it doesn't actually have to be directly related to leadership skills, like thinking strategically and managing people and conflict and all that sort of stuff. Like, for example, I manage a team in policy at the moment, but one of the leadership qualities that I want to exude as a leader is to be an inclusive manager. So someone who makes my colleagues feel included, feel safe to be themselves in the workplace, and someone who doesn't discriminate against other people. So I recently did an inclusion course that taught me about pronouns and how to use them appropriately, and what's appropriate and what's not appropriate between like gender norm language and that sort of stuff. And that was really beneficial for me. It was something that was being offered across the organization, and I put my hand up for it because I was like, this is a gap in my knowledge. Understanding how to use pronouns and stuff properly is something that I still don't really understand, so I want to learn. And so I attended the course. It was great, and now I have a bit more understanding of how to include that in my day-to-day work from an inclusive leadership perspective. How do I avoid being stuck in the same role for too long? Sometimes we get into the thick of things and we don't even realize that months are passing us by in our careers. And next thing you know, you look up and you realize that you've been in your role for about a year, 2 years, maybe sometimes even more. Always do a sense check with yourself from a professional perspective every couple of months, 6 months, every year. Every couple of months or so, I do a sense check with myself about where my career is currently at that point in time. If in 12 months I haven't progressed in my career in any way, I haven't developed, I haven't gained new skills, I haven't been exposed to a new opportunity that's challenged me, if I haven't been advanced or trained or developed in any way, that's usually a time where I will say, okay, it's time to leave this role now. I ask myself a few questions. Do I enjoy what I'm doing? Do I feel fulfilled right now? Do I believe that I could be doing more or doing something else? Am I happy with the way my career is progressing now? Do I want to be challenged more? Am I getting bored? I just kind of ask myself those types of questions, and I am honest in the way that I answer them. I don't stay in roles or opportunities that don't progress me. I've made this mistake in the past, and I don't do this anymore because it's actually a waste of your time and your skill set when you could be developing more and earning more and being more fulfilled. If an organization that you're working for is not actively spending money and resources on you, then that is a massive red flag, and it's a sign for you to go look for other opportunities. You are dedicating your time, your energy, and your resources to making this organization better. Yes, you're getting money back for that, but in return, the minimum that an organization can give you is to develop you. So for me, I kind of observe what's going on in my career at the moment, and then I make a decision for myself to say, look, we may still be in the same role as we were last year, but my experience and my skill set has changed completely because I've been given more responsibility. So that's fine for me because I'm still progressing even though my role hasn't changed. Maybe next year that's when I'll start looking into different roles because now I've got a more stronger, more refined skill set that I can use to apply for those sorts of jobs. Maybe I'll look at it and say, I'm kind of getting bored in this role. I know I can do something a bit more challenging. Now it's time to look for other roles and ask to put my hand up for other things. So it really depends on the stage you are at your career and what it is that you are seeking from it. How do I future-proof my career? In my years of experience in STEM, women have fallen into a trap where the advice that has been given to them at the very early stages of their career is very common advice about them specializing into a specific discipline. Yes, specialization in the field is pretty important for a lot of reasons. I can do another video about this. Now, the problem and the risk with specializing too much in the industry is that you develop a certain set of skills and knowledge and technical expertise that is so refined, so niche, that these skills and knowledge is not actually transferable to other careers if you need to pivot your career. This sometimes can be very misleading advice, I find, in the industry. In order to make sure that you can pivot, I would focus on constantly learning and building your transferable skills as well. There are lots of skill sets and experiences that are highly sought after in the STEM industry, no matter what industry you work in and what level you are at in your career. These include leadership skills. You can be a technical expert in a specific area of STEM, but that doesn't mean that you are a great leader. There are so many other skills. Being able to public speak and being a science communicator is really important. Being able to communicate your ideas and influence decisions across a different variety of audiences is really important. Being able to understand how technology works, basic computer skills, understanding how to use certain types of software or technologies is a very sought after skill now. Developing entrepreneurial skills is now becoming a skill set that is highly sought after in the STEM industry. Being able to think innovatively and have innovative solutions to global issues. Being able to pivot, be resilient. These are all entrepreneur skill sets that are highly sought after now, especially after the pandemic. We are now entering the quantum era in STEM, where we're using quantum technologies to change the trajectory of how we're solving problems. Having basic understanding of artificial intelligence, knowing how to use it properly, is a highly sought after skill. I could go on and on and on about all the skills if you want to know more. Otherwise, if there are any other skills you can think of, leave it in the comments below. If you constantly want to learn and you're constantly seeking knowledge and wanting to develop yourself in the STEM field, you will never run out of job opportunities. How do I negotiate my salary as a woman in STEM? Great question. Very common question that I get asked a lot. I've negotiated my salary on many occasions across the 15 years I've been in STEM. You need to speak in the language of the corporate environment to do this. What you're trying to do is you're trying to put a case together as to why you deserve a salary negotiation over someone else. These would include things like looking at the job description that you're currently doing or you're about to undertake and about to accept, and look at the responsibilities, look at the qualifications and all the criteria that's required for this job, and looking at your own skill set, your own experiences, and kind of putting together a case of how you meet that criteria, but also already exceed it. You need to be selling yourself in a strategic way. So these are the things that I bring to the table already in terms of knowledge, experience, qualifications. These are the outcomes I've achieved. These are the things that I've achieved for your organization. This is the impact I've made. Put some respect on my check. What you're offering me now, you're practically underpaying me. I deserve something better. But you have to take the emotion out of it, okay? It's one of the biggest mistakes that women make in this industry. They bring their emotions into a conversation about salary negotiating. Remove it. What they want to know is, what do you have to offer for this role, this position, for the organization that justifies them spending more money on you or giving you that opportunity or those particular benefits. You got to lay it all out in a case, and you got to sell yourself. Being able to sell yourself in this industry as a professional is incredibly important for these types of opportunities. If you reached the end of this video, thank you so much for watching all the way through. If you have any other specific career questions that you want to ask me, please leave it in the comments below. If you would like a part 2 to this series, let me know. Otherwise, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya!